Yeah, hello guys, how you doing? Welcome to today's stream of our live section. So we'll be looking at what EC2 instance is today, and also we'll be looking at various ways to create an AWS EC2 instance in using Terraform. Basically, I'll be taking you through how you could create a simple Terraform file and how you can add a new instance to your AWS account, that is the EC2 instance. And also we'll be looking at various things you need to know about Terraform file, because the Terraform files, there are some things you have to understand before actually trying to deploy a server or a web server online. So, and also we'll be applying our various basic Terraform commands we've learned in the past. So I hope we are able to achieve something nice this morning. So welcome to the stream, and I really appreciate your presence here. If you want to learn about this Terraform, so you have to be patient. 1, 2, you have to focus, and 3, you have to make sure you understand the syntax and the terminologies used. If you don't, you can check out our previous videos on the basics of Terraform. So we discussed about the resource provider, the resource name, and other important aspects of Terraform. So today, without wasting our time, so I'm going to move straight into the creation of servers to avoid time wastage, and also to ease it for us. I will be moving slow, and I will be making some mistakes intentionally. So make sure you follow me and don't make those mistakes as well. So also thirdly is that you have to have your AWS CLI configured before you do this. So to do this, you're just going to go to your terminal and input AWS configure, and add your access key and secret key into the prompt. So, and add your region if necessary, and other things like that. So I'll be moving through the basics of that quickly before we move in depth into this program. So yeah, so here we are, our AWS account. So as you can see, there's nothing, there's no instance being run at the moment, and it's actually nice. So there's nothing actually going on our account at the moment. Everything seems cool and good, so without issue. The first thing we are going to do here is to make sure we have AWS configured. So okay, I'm sorry, AWS configure. Oh. So I have mine already. I have my origin as well. So you have to have that configured. Secondly is that you have to create a file. A minute, please. Welcome back. So you have to create a file into your preferred folder. So let's assume I'm creating this a fresh file. So this AWS image ID is just the ID used for various images. This is a CentOS Linux 7 image ID. So that's just about that. So we are going to create a file now. So let's create a file, and let's create a new folder. under our desktop. Then let's call it Terraform YouTube. YouTube Terraform. So we are in here. So First EC2 .tf. Yeah, you get that. So you've saved it at .tf, which signifies it is a Terraform file. So the first thing we're going to do here is to create a resource provider. So our resource type will be AWS Instance. So we are going to give it a name. So it can be any name. Let's say First Web Server. I think that sounds good and easy and understandable. So there are two required. Okay, don't let me do that. So there are two required arguments. So there's the AMI, which is this, and also the instance type. So the instance type, so which will be the the type of instance you want. So we have the T2, which is used for general purpose. So this instance type is going to be the one to tell the amount of space and CPU, that is the memory and the CPU you will have on your instance. So it's important. So we have the T2 micro, T2 nano, T2 large, T2 extra large, and the likes. So we are moving to AMI. So don't forget the indentation. So the AMI is this. Okay. AMI, yeah. And also we have instance type. Instance type. Which makes a lot of sense. So we are going to use T2 micro or nano. Let's use nano, at least for now. So that's that about that. So we can do something like tags, or let's say tag. That's a common mistake, but don't make that mistake. So tags, then you do something like this. Okay, that's wrong. So for your tag, you have your name, the name of the tag. Let's call it web server EC2. Then the description. What can we call it? Description. Let's call it hello web server. Hello web server. Okay, that makes a lot of sense now, right? So this is just telling us so basically what they use tag for is just to identify or to group. So later in the future, if you want to group your EC2 instance, so you could add them to a specific, you could group them by a specific tag. So another thing we want to do is that when you notice that you want to run your EC2 instance, there's something called the user data. So the user data is mainly used, they are the commands that you use to run, they are the commands that you run or that run when your EC2 instance is provisioning or after provisioning your EC2 instance. So we're using the EOF, which means the end of file. So basically this is using bash to run multiple lines of commands. So let's do it like this. Okay, let's run our bash script, right? So we have the bin bash. Okay, we have the bin bash. Yeah. Then we have the sudo apt update. So to update the package, the repository. Then we have the sudo. What can we do again? Okay, we can apt get. Okay, apt install. Let's say nginx or ginx, how you call it. We also have sudo okay, let's system start, system call to system control. Okay, let's enable it first. We have to enable Nginx, then so we have to start it, start Nginx on the server, then we are done. So EOF, then we have our tag closed. Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. So basically I'm going to take this from the beginning. So let's clear this off. Oh, no. No. Okay, so we have the AWS resource, and this is the resource type. So it is the AWS is the provider, which has what we are trying to do in AWS is that we are trying to create an instance. So if it is an S3 bucket, we are going to use S3 bucket, but we are going to move into that later. So we have the first web server, which is like a tag. It is called the resources, the resource name. So it is like a tag for this instance. So we have the AMI, which signifies the image ID we are using. So for this, it is the CentOS Linux 7 image. So we have the instance type, which is the T2 Nano. So this actually, I think it's around a gig CPU, and I think it's a gig memory and 0.5 CPU. I'm not sure about that. So we have the tags. So basically they are used for grouping. We have the name here, which is the web server EC2, and we have the description, hello web server. So these are the user data. So basically this is usually inputted when you are writing, that when you are installing or when you are provisioning your EC2 instance using the console. So you probably have to, you will see this command down below when creating your EC2 instance. So this is used to run commands. So EOF is used in bash to run multiple lines of command. So this is we are initiating the bash environment, then sudo app, we are updating the repository, installing Nginx, so enabling Nginx, and also starting the Nginx resources. So let's move on. So the first thing we're going to do here, can anyone remind us about that? So I'm giving you just 2 minutes to do that. Okay, if you guess right, so we are going to do Terraform Units. So we are going to initialize this directory, because looking at this directory, okay, I think this is not the right directory. Okay, this is the right directory. YouTube, okay, great. So we don't, okay, we have just this file in this directory, which makes a lot of sense, and nothing more, just this file. Yeah, so the first thing we're going to do here is try to initialize. So you initialize this directly. So what this does is that it's going to look into this resources tab and download the necessary plugins that we need. So looking at, so it's getting this plugin, provider plugin from AWS, the HashiCorp repository. So it's downloading the latest version. So there's another thing called versioning in Terraform, which you can use, the old version of, the AWS plugin. But we'll be talking about that later, hopefully. So the latest version has been successfully downloaded. So we move to Terraform Plan, which is the second stage. But let's do Terraform format or validate to make sure our code is that there are no errors in our code. So let's check that out. Hopefully we'll be cleared. Yeah, so success, the configuration is valid, which is a good step forward. So we have the Terraform format. So it formats our code to make it more readable and to make it align with the Terraform specification. So we have Terraform Plan. So let me clear this so that we can see it clearly. Yeah, so Terraform Plan. Yeah, so Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's asking for a region. Let's try to cancel it first. Stop in operation. Okay, no problem. So we can make okay, touch provider .tf. So we can create what's it called? I think there's a way to do this. Echo. So provider.tf. Whoa. I'm not sure I made a mistake. Whoa. Okay. So let's open it with our Vim. So basically, what we want to do here is we want to create another folder where we have our region therein. So provider will be AWS, and we have region. So region will be what? Let's use the US East 2. I think that's around Ohio or something. So yeah, here we go. Okay, I hope everything is okay. I think so. I hope so. So we have two files now. Okay. Okay, it has initialized the state locking. We'll talk about that later. So basically now we are going to run our Terraform unit again, just to give you the feel about what's going on. So it's not going to download the what's it called, the region or anything. So it's only going to need the AWS plugin that it downloaded before. So it's as simple as that. So it's reusing it. So let's move on to Terraform Plan. So let's see. So as you can see in our console, that we don't have anything currently on our console. We don't have anything running. Everything is stopped. To confirm that, let's try to load it again. Yeah, as you can see, everything is stopped. So Terraform Plan, basically what this does is that it's going to tell you the plan or the schedule or the actions that will be taken when you run this Terraform apply command. So looking at this, so it's going to create the AWS instance web server, and these values or these arguments are what will be known after we've created it. So this AWS first web server will be created, which makes sense. Okay, so this is the resource type, and this is the resource name. So resource is okay. So this is the AMI we provided. So the ARN, so is the Amazon resource name, which will be which is a unique ID for every resource on AWS. So it's going to provide that. So we have the public IP address, so availability zone, ID, instance type, so okay, instance type we have T2 nano here. So the IP version 6 key, everything. So it's going to create that. So we have user data. Just with the the user data here. So it's not going to show everything here, but it's definitely going to run. So that's that about creating our instance. All we just have to do now is Terraform apply. Hopefully it doesn't fail. Oh, I forgot to add that since we've created the provider.tf file, so it made it easier for us to add, for us to not have to enter our AWS region, because it gets those values from those files already. So now we're doing Terraform apply, so hopefully it's going to work. Yeah, so let's stay patient while our first AWS EC2 instance is provisioning. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So this is just telling us, oh, these are the things your instance is going to run, or these are the plan. So it's going to ask, do you want to perform these actions? Yeah, of course, we want that. So it's creating, which is nice. It's creating, so you have to stay patient until we have that sorted. And the interesting thing about this is that you could do many things using, working with this Terraform file in conjunction with the AWS, account. So you could create an AWS HAM user. You could create an S3 bucket. Hopefully, we'll be looking at S3 bucket in our next live stream. So make sure you subscribe. So if you want to see how I'm going to do that, make sure you subscribe, and hopefully you are going to learn a lot as a result of that. And also thank you for joining again. I so much appreciate it. So while we wait for our EC2 instance to get provisioned, yeah, we are trying to so wait for everything to get sorted. So this is a very easy way to to move on. Okay, oh, that's nice. So apply complete. One resource is added, zero change, zero destroyed. So which makes a lot of sense. So let's check out our account. Yeah, interesting. We have our web server is running. So can we give ourselves a round of applause? So that makes a lot of sense. So our web server is running now, which is good news. So it's actually a good news, which is nice. So we have our web server running. So just for the meantime, let's so remain patient until we are able to get some more information about our server. So it's currently initializing. So you could create hundreds of instances using just this file. So where you can see. Okay, let's see the tags. Sure, it should be around here. Okay, it should be here. Sorry. So look at the tag. The name is EW web server EC2 and hello web server. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So this is the public address. So we're going to look into that later. So let's just wait. So for now, what you're going to do again is try to look into our Terraform file and try to make changes and see what will happen. So let's try to change this to T2 micro, for example. Save the file, run Terraform Plan, now apply. So what it's going to do that is going to change it to micro, that is a higher, that is a huger or bigger space of volume for our account. So hopefully things are going to work out here. Let's just remain patient while this works. So it's generating the Terraform apply process here. I think okay. So it's refreshing state. That is, it's making these changes to our state file. So hopefully I'll be able to create a different live stream that explains the state file in detail. So look at the changes we are making. Instance type, we are changing it to T2. Okay, which makes a lot of sense. If we press yes, so it's going to get done. It might take a little bit of time, probably a minute and a half or so. So let's just wait while that happens. Let's stay patient. So basically the T2 Nano has CPU of 1, and it has the memory of 0.5, which is 500 MB, while the T2 Micro has space of 1 gig and CPU of 1. And we have the T2 Small, we have the T2 Medium, and the largest is this T2 extra large or something. It has 8 CPU and 32 gig of memory, so which makes a lot of sense. So later in the future we'll be talking about how you can connect, that's how you can run, you can create EC2 instance with SSH attached. So basically, if you don't know what an EC2 instance is, I'm very sorry about that. I should have explained that at first. So these are virtual machines that provide scalable computers that can be deployed so in a matter of minutes. So they basically provide configured templates known as the Amazon Machine Image, which is the AMI we used up here. So basically that's all you need to know about EC2. So I think there are three types. We have the general purpose, then that's the T2 we used, and we have the compute optimized. So I think those they are used to work on workloads that are of high performances. So and we have the memory optimized as well. So I think they are designed to deliver fast performances. So for workload that provide large data sets in memory. So you have to just understand these things. So what we are trying to do now, so as you can see that we are using T2 Nano here. So all we are going to do is remain patient while this thing get done. So sometimes it might take time like this, but at least you aren't using your energy to create these things. You just write a piece of code, and the good thing is that you could reuse it. If you could reuse this file, just copy the content of the code and make the necessary changes, use it in another file. But that's not advisable, but at least it's easy to write the code, so you shouldn't need that. But the good thing about it is that it's easy to configure, it's easy to write, and it's easy to get things done, and it's easy to make changes to it. So we are done after almost 3 minutes. So it happens. So let's look at our instance, which is T2 Nano, right? Yeah. So let's reload the page and see if it's running T2 Micro now. Yeah, it's running T2 Micro, which makes a lot of sense. Congratulations on that. So another thing we have to note is that when you make changes to this value here or this value here, so it's going to destroy your instance. So we are going to talk about that as well later. So that's one of the features of Terraform. So it's going to destroy your instance. So but when you make changes to the description, it's not going to destroy your instance. So we are going to find another day to do that, to discuss in depth about that. Probably when we are discussing about a state file. So it's going to make a lot of sense. And also, we should note that these values, this code would have run on the instance. So let's check that out, and that's where we're going to stop on this stream. So we can check that out by doing action, monitor and troubleshoot, get system log. Yeah. Okay, since because we haven't started the section, so let's try to connect. So yeah. Okay, so let's go back for now and try to launch the instance. So when we launch the instance, so we are going to actually have this code run. We won't be doing that because of our time and other things. But when you launch the instance, you are going to have all these code run on your instance. So I hope this helps a lot. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a very good time. Thank you once again. So have a very good time. Bye bye.